Hey guys, Eddie here from Eddie for Life. And today in this video, I'm going to be talking about the coaching industry, building up a coaching business, and a lot of the myths that are held to be holy in this industry. So if you're a coach or a consultant, a mentor, or something in that area, you might want to listen up because this is going to be interesting for you. This has been a tough year for anybody in the coaching industry or in the consultancy industry or whatever you want to call it. And in periods of lockdown, a lot of people have had nothing better to do than to sit on their laptops and go into social media, including yours truly. I've been using that time to do a lot of work. And in this video, I want to talk about some of the myths that are going on in this industry, in the coaching industry. I've had so many coaches from around the world reach out to me in the last year, and I've had conversations on Zoom with many of them. And I want to bring you the honest truth about what is going on in maybe 90% of this industry. It's tough. And people are not making money. I'm talking about most coaches out there are not making hardly any money and hardly enough money to exist. And people tell me that all the time when I get into these conversations. So, what is going on here exactly? I mean, is everybody playing along? Are we all feeding ourselves some sort of utopian lie here that there is some sort of great coaching industry, and to be a high-level coach you can make 6-7 figures a year? I want to answer that. Yes, you can. However, there's not many people who actually are doing that. Not many. I know a few personally, and there are some really great coaches out there. However, for the majority of coaches, it's a really tough existence, and it is really tough to get clients, and it's really tough to charge premium prices for your work, no matter how much it's worth. And the most important thing maybe is the feeling that most coaches around the world have that, hey, everybody is doing it, everybody is making it, everybody's successful, and what about me? And so everybody is walking around with this inferiority complex that they're not good enough, and there's some sort of party going on, but they're not in on it. And I'm not talking about FOMO here, I'm talking about real parties going on, but hey, I'm not invited to that party. And that's a terrible feeling to have. I know that. And that's why I'm making this video, because I want you to know, if you're a coach, if you're a mentor or a consultant, yes, there are people out there who are making money. However, the majority aren't. And if you know that and you put things into perspective, then things will be a bit better for you, because you'll know what to do. Now, the most common question I get this past year or generally is, Eddie, how do I find clients? Now, I had an interesting conversation yesterday on Clubhouse with a couple of guys, people I know, people I respect, some of them I knew. And I was asked this question, or more or less tried to answer it. And I'm going to give you the answer that I gave them yesterday, which they said was also an eye-opener for them. And it could be that I'm busting some myths here. And, well, I've been busting myths my whole life, so I don't give a fuck. Nothing is holy. Nothing. I want to know what's real, not what people are thinking or making or going about. And the thing is, how to find clients? That is really tough. Now, I want to break that down into two sections. How do you find clients? if you're an extrovert? Well, let's put it this way. The easiest way is for somebody who's coming out of an executive position, a high C-level position in a huge multinational company, and they are transitioning in their later years to private coaching. And I would actually advise them to call that consulting and coaching. Because, I mean, what is this whole coaching business anyway? It's a bunch of bullshit. This word we use, and I'm a coach also. I call myself a coach, a mentor, a teacher, a trainer. I don't know. These are all just tools which we use in order to help people. In order to help people move from where they are to where they want to go, or to help them even understand where they want to go and maybe where it's possible for them to go. So it's just a bunch of tools. Who cares what it's called? Now, this used to be the rage, a couple of years ago. Everybody, especially in California, they woke up one morning, young kids, hardly did anything in their lives. They saw Tony Robbins, who I respect very much, by the way. And I'm saying that honestly. And they said they want to become a life coach. Now, what the fuck is a life coach? You haven't done anything in your goddamn life, and now you're going to be a life coach. That's like all these courses to be a business coach. These young kids, 23, 24, 25 years old, haven't been a businessman, have never been entrepreneurs. They take this course and then they walk around saying that they're a business coach. Yes, granted, there are a couple out there who are good, and I don't care how young they are. They could be 16 years old and also with no experience. So what are you saying now, Eddie? That's a paradox. Yeah, life is about paradoxes. It could be a 16-year-old kid who has no experience. He's a genius in what he does, and he might be an amazing business coach or even a life coach. In Zen, beginner's mind, Zen mind, beginner's mind. The beginner's mind sometimes, usually, opens us up to possibilities which we never thought of. So it could be that a young guy who didn't do anything in his life could be an amazing coach. However, I would say that's a very, very tiny fraction of what really happens out there. So getting back to the first case, an extrovert, or let's say this high executive, C-level executive coming out from a big multinational company, and now he or she are transitioning into private practice as a consultant or coach or mentor or whatever you want to call it. Now, the first thing for them to do is just pick the low-hanging fruit. They have millions, or they should have millions of contacts. They've been working 20, 30, 40 years in a corporate world, and they know millions of people, and they're probably very well respected because they've been, C-level executives. The only thing that they have to do is start using that network and putting it out that that's what they're doing now. And just putting it out slowly, day by day, getting back to people. How are you? Hey, would you need some help? Stuff like that, getting into conversations. And that is really the best way to go. And in that case, if somebody does say, hey, I would love to have a, short chat or conversation with you. I could use maybe some help, or have an idea or something like that. Okay, have a short chat with them. And then you see how it goes afterwards. And then maybe you make a proposition or whatever you think is right. However, you never should come across from underneath. You have to remember, you're the woman, you're the guy, that C-level, very talented executive, and now you're just continuing what you're doing in a slightly different way. So that's I would say, maybe the easiest way to really get clients and to get higher paying clients, because nobody wants to work for $50 an hour. I mean, anybody can do that. If you want to work as a coach for $50, $100 an hour, well, you might as well get a better job, and this way you won't have to worry if you're going to be able to pay the bills at the end of the month. So I would say maybe that's the really best way for anybody who wants to work in the service industry of coaching and consulting and mentoring. Now, what happens on the other side? What happens to the introvert who, and by the way, that's me. I'm talking about me right now. Yeah, for years, I knew millions of people. I was moving in all the circles. I knew all of society. And maybe 15 years ago, I had enough of that. And I broke off with all that, and I started living a much more private life. And I don't care very much for small talk. And I'll tell you something else. I don't give a damn about small talk. I don't want to talk, about fucking around in parties and bullshit and clothes. I did that enough in my life. And in any party, if you're going to see me in a party, which you probably won't these years, but if you would, you'll probably catch me standing outside quietly, maybe speaking to somebody, some sort of conversation which will bring value to me and to the other person, because I don't care anymore for, playing some sort of game. So how does an introvert go about finding clients? Now, you can't start calling people up and, out of the blue and say, hey, would you like to come over? You need some support or this and that. That is being needy. And people will pick up on that and say, hey, what the fuck is going on with this guy? What, he needs a couple of bucks to pay his rent? You can't do it that way. You always have to come from above. The moment you're coming from below, and that's what I have been doing for more than 35 years in business as a businessman and entrepreneur. So luckily enough, in my case, I can afford to play around. It's okay. But that's why I'm saying these things. So if you're watching until now, you'll understand that you're not the only one who has problems in this area. As an introvert, there's hardly any way to get clients except if it happens by chance or on social media. Now, social media is an even bigger problem, so I'm going to rule that out in a moment. Just listen up. You want to go on Facebook? Well, there's no organic reach on Facebook anymore. Zero. Maybe 2, 3, 4, 5%. That's it. No organic reach. Facebook and Instagram, by the way, same. It's just one big platform to advertise on. Now, the only places where you can still get some sort of organic reach is LinkedIn and TikTok. Now, TikTok, I don't think that's a place really. I mean, it's going to change, and things are changing already, sure. But to get your message across as a coach on TikTok, I don't see it. Not much. And to get it across on LinkedIn, well, that's mainly business to business. And you're going to see so many people putting out, including yours truly. I put myself out on LinkedIn. I used to do it a lot on Facebook. I'm cutting down a bit now. But how are you going to get clients off LinkedIn? Yeah, you have to get in conversations, and then you have to answer, and then you have to question, you have to answer, and you have to write comments and all this bullshit. I mean, this is really a shitty way to go about getting clients. So to be honest with you, I don't see that happening. What can you do? And in my case, I did this really heavily for the past 6-7 months. You can advertise on social media platforms like Facebook. That's a good place to advertise. Now, in my case, I was advertising for I was advertising every month for 5 figures. And I was bringing in clients for that amount. And it was tough and it was rough because I have to be honest, I'm not cheap. And in the end, for me, it was like playing around, seeing if it'll work or not. And at the end of the day, after a couple of months doing that, you can't make money. I mean, you'll pay for the advertising. You'll make a little bit. If you're good, you'll make a little bit. And you have to be really, really great in your advertising. You have to stand out. However, that's not the way to go. You're just going to be running after your tail. So, what's the bottom line in all this? The bottom line is, if you want to work as a coach, if you have or a consultant or a mentor, if you have some sort of passion for this business, if you have a desire, a burning desire to help people, if you want to change the world, if you want to make a difference, and I mean that, and I'm not talking now in slogans, in cliches. If you really feel that burning inside you, and that's your calling, at least you have to know what you're up against. You have to know what you're up against. And in the same way, in a fight, from my world of the martial arts, you go into a fight, if you don't know who your opponent is, you're going to lose. You need intel. So the better you know who your opponent is, what is his or her moves, where are their strengths, where are their weaknesses, the better chance you have to win that fight. The same way here. If you're going into the coaching business and you're going in la-di-da, oh my God, I'm a life coach, I'm going to be making 6 figures, and all these gurus on Facebook and YouTube and whatever are going to teach me all this bullshit, and I'm saying that's bullshit, well, you're going to get kicked in the face so quick, you're not going to even know where it's coming. However, if you go in and you do it as a side job, because that's your passion, that's your calling, and then you do what you do, and you charge what you charge, then you have a chance of not only building up a small little practice, but also having some fun and having a lot of fulfillment. But you have to understand, if you're going to have to run after meeting your bills every month, and you're going to come to a client that you're working with, and you're going to try to proposition them and sell them and propose to them, and you're going to come from a place that you have to make the money, that's going to be seen so quickly on the other side as being needy. That's the worst thing to have in any practice and in any business, being needy. So, those are my 2 cents on that subject of building up a coaching business, and I hope that I gave you at least some clarity on that. If you have any questions, you can write me some comments down below. I'll be happy to answer them and to, do that to the best of my ability. That's what I'm here for, to bring you some value. Maybe you got some value, and if you did get some value, then you want to maybe subscribe to my channel, then hit the subscribe button, and then maybe, hit that like button, and then hit the bell, and you'll be notified of future videos. Until now, this is Eddie here from Eddie for Life. Be well and be safe.